And you can actually ask me about what is the type of mascara that's good for you, right? And then I would tell you, well, have you tried the brown one? Let me tell you, it's in aisle this and that. Why don't you try it on? Come back to me here and I'll tell you how it looks. So it's almost like you create a relationship. Instead of having the physical person selling to you and has very limited knowledge, you have an AI in that store. The AI is going to be able to sell you, give you the advice, look at you, and have a meaningful conversation with you. Almost every time the AI, and I didn't train them for that. They say to me,
Really?
wow, you look amazing with your big eyes. You're like in your 30s. I'm like, 30s? That is awesome.
Hi, we're back in the studio today. Thank you so much for joining us. I'm sitting down with Galya Westler, the CEO of HumanBeam. And I just want to tell you she's serial entrepreneur, and I'll let her take over the introduction. Go ahead, dear.
Hello, Brenda. Hello, everybody. It's so nice to see you again. It is an absolute pleasure to be here today. So thank you very much for inviting me. So my name is Galya Westler, and I'm a multiple serial entrepreneur. I am usually in the forefront of technology, and I have the pleasure of leading an amazing team of engineers, AI engineers, blockchain engineers, and enterprise software development level engineers, and also product managers and designers. And together we are building HumanBeam, which is giving AI a body and even doing it in 3D for the purpose of bringing AI companion for businesses to be able to streamline their automation and offload all of the mundane tasks that their staff has to do onto an AI that is able to do it a lot faster, a lot better, very engaging, and even human-like.
Okay, let's get right to it. So we've seen the movies where holograms talk to us in the streets of a futuristic city. So I guess 2026 is officially the year science fiction becomes business strategy. I want to know what led you into thinking, okay, we want to do this hologram for education.
So actually, it started from building different application for businesses, and I've got a few companies, and one of the companies was building healthcare type applications, and we built almost like a telehealth solution where we're able to connect doctors and patients in remote areas. And then we thought, wouldn't that be cool to be able to beam in the actual person in 3D? And the way to do that is to use a hologram display, which is essentially one big Windows machine. And then we develop a technology that allows the same as Riverside, the same as Zoom, the same as, Teams, but we don't use these technologies. We actually use everything on AWS, and we stream in 4K, and simply by using any phone, you're able to load our technology, our platform, and just like that, beam yourself into a hologram. So you're sitting in a white backdrop studio, you use a phone or an iPad, you use our platform, and instantly you're being beamed in 4K streaming into the other side. The other side could be, for example, a clinic where you are a professional, you're a doctor, you're a specialist. You're not in their area, they're in a remote area, and you're beaming yourself into the patient environment. And because they see you in 3D, they're very much engaged. So that was like the beginning. Then we started to do it for salespeople, for support, for folks that are not able to be there physically in the store or in the showroom or in the conference or even at the stage. And we beamed in the real person, also known as HumanBeam. But then clients started to ask us, what if our staff is not really available? What if they don't want to do all of the talking, all of the intake? Can you somehow animate them and make them do this automatically? And that was around the time that agent mode and, chatbots came to life. But when people brought them to life, they brought them to life in a very limited manner, which means that a lot of people are used to talking and chatting and texting.
Mm.
Not a lot are doing this conversation, right? You see how engaging it is that I'm with
Yes,
you right now. But Brenda, am I real?
girl, I know you are real. I don't
That's
even
how it
know now.
goes.
Now you're confusing me.
There you
You're
go.
really confusing me now. But I'm hoping I'm talking to the real Galya.
The avatar doesn't laugh that much, so.
Okay, 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 okay. Yeah, that laugh is real. That's for sure. Yeah,
It is.
wow. I love that. So, in layman's terms, is that like a 3D TV or with expression or,
Yeah, so
how?
if people go to our website, they can see some examples, but you can imagine like an 86-inch refrigerator, essentially like a big display.
Yeah.
It does actually look like a refrigerator. And now we're working with some other hologram providers that are able to do it much more like a smaller, thinner device. But the
Okay.
86-inch one, it's
Mm,
big, right? It's like 3.5 meters. Because
yeah.
it's so big, it's called life size. And when you do it, like imagine events, right? Imagine
Mm,
you're now doing this podcast somewhere, in a big city, and you're doing an event and you want everybody to come and watch us at the event. You probably want to have like a big size of hologram. And then you can do two things. You can have me beamed in from, and right now I'm in Berlin, another
yeah.
time I'm in Vancouver, right? I live in Canada. I live in different parts of the world. And then
Mm,
you can just beam me in. Another thing that we can do is you can say, well, Galia, I kind of want you to talk about, different topics for my conference or for my clinic or for my retail store. And then you make me into an avatar and then you beam me into this. So it essentially looks like if you go to our website, it looks like a big, almost like a big monitor that is quite has the depth. And the
okay.
reason why it has the depth to it is because when we emulate, it's not really a hologram. When we emulate the 3D, we do different effects with it, right? So we
Mm-hmm.
essentially animate the character and we make this effect by using lights and a shadow, right? And the way we beam in the person in 3D, the actual person, is we put them in a white background studio. We add the lights, which creates the shadow and creates the effect. And then the box is able to essentially create this illusion. So the same way that we started by beaming in live people, we did this illusion with the animation of the character. So it's essentially, when you look at the website, you'll see examples that you come into the box and you see a lot like a 2 meter, like a 6'5" person, and they look real because we make them like with wrinkles and a gap in the teeth, right? We don't make the AI look like plastic, and they move and they talk. So we make it like it's a real person standing in front of you.
Wow. So should we be creeped out by talking to a 3D AI? Or is that just going to be a natural evolution of how we interact with technology? I'm like,
You know that
some people, you think some people will be creeped out by that?
it's a good observation, because actually when you look at the dangers, you don't even have to go as far as what we're doing, which is very sophisticated full body AI. You can even start with the ChatGPT and the different things that people go into discussions, and simply by having them on the phone essentially or on the line, they have, because it's enabled by audio as well or by texting, right? The reason why it's so engaging
Mm-hmm.
also in the full body that we do and also in the text and the audio form is because it is so intelligent. It's able to be flexible as to the questions that you answer it, and it's very, very entertaining, and it's very knowledgeable, and sometimes it's very dangerous, right? So people go into a rabbit hole and they forget that they're talking to a machine, right?
Mm-hmm.
And the way to catch that is if you're able to put this, as the business is implementing it, in a certain frame. Yeah. So
Mm-hmm.
you're saying, okay, this is my salesperson for my conference, right?
Yeah.
This is my a nurse AI. This is my salesperson AI, right? So you give it like a name, you give it a personality, you give it a certain role, and then it's able to communicate. We don't really do this for like consumers, like for end customers. We do
Mm-hmm.
it for businesses to serve their customers. So we don't, and also we apply a lot of guardrails and very specific knowledge base. We're not like, first of all, we don't just use ChatGPT, which is OpenAI. We use different LLMs, number one. Number two is we restrict the LLM to particularly the knowledge of the business. So, saying stuff that are not supposed to say, we do a lot of testing so that we can avoid that, right? So it's very different than the experience of the end user just using their ChatGPT. Yeah, it's very much protected, I would say, because the business is the one who owns this entire interaction. So no, it's not. In fact, it's very useful.
So it's being used by huge corporations, right?
Yes.
So, for example, someone like myself, and I want to probably teach a class, would that be relevant, or is this just for the huge corporations that are
Absolutely.
with massive budgets,
So yeah, absolutely. So I'll explain, right? We've got a really cool feature that is catered for the smaller businesses. We just launched actually the other week a thing called spaces or channels. So people, if they're interested, they can download the HumanBeam app. It's called Talk to Me AI, and they don't have to try it only on the hologram. They can try it like on their phone. They can talk to the different avatars, right? The same way you interact with our app, you can create a channel of our app called, the name of your school. And then essentially you can create different avatars to the different modules of your course, right? Mm-hmm. So to give you an example, right? One of our customers is a very famous public speaker. He wrote different books. He built his course around the book. He had about 15 modules that he wanted to teach his different students. You get to decide for how much do you want to sell this AI course. And then essentially you create an AI educator. So it can look like you, it can look like, anybody that you want, any character that you want. So that's really exciting. You get to design it. And then you give it knowledge module by module. And then the AI is able to even examine how the student is moving along from one module to the next. I'll give you another example, which is also has to do with education. The tool is being used actually for healthcare schools because they do what is called simulation. So when you study to be a nurse, you have to do simulations with actors and actresses in order to emulate what it would be like for you to deal with patients, right? So we have a really cool example on the app and the website. You'll see Michael. Michael is a French Canadian. He's a homeless person. He's got respiration disease. And when you talk to him, he's trained to be a pain in the neck if you don't give him a doctor. And this is actually a true experience when you teach in paramedic school, in nursing school. So instead of bringing the actual actors and actresses, which they don't have any knowledge in healthcare, you teach the AI, which, you teach him with a flick of a finger, versus, spending the time paying the money to those actors and actresses and managing them. And instead of them being very limited with the way they're going to interact with your nurses, right, with your students, you have the AI interact with the students and teach them and also test them and documents everything to see kind of where they're at. I'll give you another example, okay? Something that we do with different companies. And actually, before I joined this podcast, we just did an interview for a new member of the team. And we needed to do a very technical interview, right? So we trained one of our AI to be an AI interviewer. He was shocked. He was totally shocked. No, we didn't say that this was going to happen. We let him share the screen. He loaded the AI on his machine. He shared the screen, shared the sound, right? Because you can talk to it on the web, anywhere. It's totally device agnostic. Yeah. And the AI, her name was Alex, and she was a kind of like a CTO type AI interviewer. And she asked him, so he told her about the project, and she went into the rabbit hole with him about really, really technical questions. We didn't have anybody technical on the call. It was, it was a few product managers, some designer, right? We didn't have it. And she was a technical person on the call because the other technical person couldn't make it. So we brought her. He was shocked. He goes, wow, she's really good. She really asked me a lot of technical questions.
And everything. So he didn't know. Wait a minute. Did he eventually, how did you tell him that was AI?
No, he knew. No, he knew.
Oh, he knew. Okay.
Of course. We told him because we launched the screen and then you
Mm.
see it, right? So it wasn't like,
Oh, okay.
hologram. Yeah, yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
okay,
He
okay,
knew.
okay, okay.
But he talked to her. He talked to her like a person. You should see the way people talk to them. They think they're like people, right? And they
Yeah.
interrupt the machine, and you can't interrupt the machine because it's a machine. It's kind of like a text message. You need to wait until I send you the text message so that you can read it and then reply to me, right? And so
Yes.
also when you talk to a ChatGPT, you need to send it the text.
So
It
yeah.
digests it, right? And then it sends you back the answer. But when you talk to it, when it's so visual, you forget it's a machine and you end up talking over it, and then it stops and then it continues. So it's very, very entertaining to see how people use our products.
That is amazing. So do you feel like you've built something that is going to literally change the way people are going to be doing things in regards to like that interview you just talked about,
Yeah.
corporations. So are you feeling like this is because I mean, when you talk to me and tell me exactly what it does in depth, just I've read the website, I've gone over the website, but the way you're talking about it, it's way more than that.
Yeah,
So, do
absolutely.
you feel that like, okay, we've just built something really that's about to
Yeah, I
blow
can
up?
tell you that the innovation comes when the way we put the things together. And because we come from a very big background of usability, I'm very keen on DIY tools, like do it yourself. We're now building DIY tools. So up until now, we do what is called handcraft AI. We will, like, if you were to decide to create like an avatar of Brenda, we will take your photo, send you to a studio. We make it so accurate. We want to make it a lot more accessible, but you just uploading a photo and boom, you can create a spokesperson video of yourself with the perfect movements. And then we can animate it, give it a brain, and boom, you've got a HumanBeam AI and you can give it to your students, right? Or you can give it
Yeah.
to the conference. So I think that the way that you streamline the experience and you really try to give your customers a one-stop shop solution. You don't do this token, I don't want to curse. You don't do this token, thing. And you have to figure out, wait, how many tokens do I have? And even like with Gemini, right? Even like with,
Yeah.
wait, how many tokens? What's the token? And then boom, it doesn't work anymore. This is not the way to do it, right? You need to really understand what your clients need. So let's imagine that they need, even just an avatar to video product, which is something that we're working on right now for the DIY tool. Even if they need animation, even if they need to update the knowledge, right? They need something from beginning to end. And it's your responsibility as a product company to give it to them in a very, very, very clean, easy UI. And then when the end product for their users, right, or their customers or their employees, when they end up using it and it's like that, you know that you are innovator, not because you've invented some LLM and some algorithm. No, no, not because of that. We've got different ways that we do our things. We've got our algorithm and we've got our different unique things that we do in our code. But actually the uniqueness, the innovation is you giving a product that no one else thought to do in such a streamlined way. And people are happy when they're using it. This to me is the big success.
I love that. Yes, that is the big success. So when you talk about intent-based advertising, are you as a like for a business owner, is that how does that hologram then move the needle for the business owner for in regards to advertising?
So I'll explain. So this is actually next level for corporations that want to integrate this in multiple locations. And I'll talk about a thing called advertisement in different physical locations, right? So everybody knows you see all those screens all over New York City, all over big cities in the US, in Canada, everywhere, right? When you see these big screens and all they do is they project the L'Oreal model and she doesn't do much other than looking her skinny self, right? Nothing, right? Or they show you these like ridiculous advertisement from these high-end brands. They're not engaging at all, right? So what we're offering to these big corporations is when they have multiple locations, they can have an interactive version of their model or of their product, whether it's a retail product or any other products, right? But then the trick is when they have more than, let's say, 100 locations and people are engaging with their AI. So let's imagine H&M are now deciding to sign a deal, right? And H&M, they've got all their models and they've got their like spring and summer look. And they know that you love this like bright pink color. Because we have computer vision, you approach these like big boxes in the bus stop or in the conference, right? And the AI gets to know you and like, Brenda, I remember you. This color really suits you. I really think that your makeup is spot on, but maybe you want to buy the more rosy shade. Boop, here's the product. And guess what? With advertisement, when you implement engagement because of the intent, because the intent, it's the most amount of money that you can make as a business with these advertisement interactions. And that's how they're able to essentially activate these, but it needs to be multiple locations, right? Because it's all about the traffic, right? And then they convert this traffic into sales because the AI knows, right? The AI can suggest the advertisement to you and you're probably going to buy. You as the user, right?
Yeah. I mean, we already having AI go with us or not. I mean, we were already using AI, but people did not know it was AI because when you go to a grocery store like HEB and suddenly you see, coupons of something that you probably didn't buy now, but you've bought before, that was AI, right?
Mm-hmm. 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 You mean when they offer you different things?
Yes.
Yeah.
Isn't that AI already applied it,
I'm sure they use different AI to be able to streamline it, but the AI that we are talking about is more of a conversational AI that when you have this valuable interaction with a full body avatar, and this full body avatar, like you visit him or her in the shop, and it's wearing different clothes or different makeup whatever it is that it's doing and talking about things that matter to you. And then they talk to you about the things that matter to you. You're really able to feel more engaged. And when you are engaged, so I'll give you another example. Imagine you go to Target, okay? And Galya is your salesperson, right? I work at Target. I'm wearing the Target whatever outfit. And you come to me and you're like, hey, like, I don't know where to find the mascara. And you can actually ask me about what is the type of mascara that's good for you, right? And then I will tell you, well, have you tried the brown one? Let me tell you, it's in aisle this and that. Why don't you try it on? Come back to me here and I'll tell you how it looks. So it's almost like you create a relationship. Instead of having the physical person selling to you and has very limited knowledge, you have an AI in that store and the AI is going to be able to sell you, give you the advice, look at you and have a meaningful conversation with you.
So I'm imagining something like what Elon Musk has, showing around the Tesla models. Is that what you're imagining too? Something like that? A real built up.
So yeah, AI. Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely.
In a store. Okay, so when I go into the store telling me, okay, try this and well then cashiers are, then maybe it's gonna take away a lot of jobs too.
It will take a lot of jobs. It will amplify a lot of jobs, but at the end of the day, it will unfortunately take away a lot of jobs. But you have to think about it from the flip side. Let's think about a nurse, right? Or a front desk at a very busy hospital or a clinic, right? For them to do the mundane task, to keep asking the person, what's your name, what's your email, what's your problem, blah, 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 blah. All these things, right? Like forms, for example, forms have to be replaced somehow. The patient doesn't like it, the user doesn't like it, and the person who's giving the service doesn't like it. So why don't you want to replace it with an AI and let the nurse do things that she's really good at, like taking care of people? So why don't you have the physical people in the store, right? Taking you to find the mascara, right? And then if you want to find a comparison of 10,000 different mascaras, you don't bother the worker. You go to the AI, you bother the AI.
So one AI in one store, I can deal with that, girl. And in the next 6 years, are we? Is that going to be like you will start seeing that before then, or what do you? How do you envision the next, if like 2031? How do you envision AI interacting with people at Target? Would human beam
Actually,
AI be? Huh?
actually, it shouldn't take that long to be able to
Really?
interact. Yeah, it shouldn't take that long to be able to interact. They have made some attempts to be able to build some AI tools.
Yeah.
Um, I haven't heard of successful attempts thus far that they've done. They've had some attempts online that they're able to integrate some chatbots, but very soon they're going to have a much more engaging customer service, right? I mean, you saw the shift where instead of cashiers, there was the automatic cashiers. And at the beginning,
Yes.
people said, oh, I don't want to, put my stuff through. But then you're like, well, I don't want to stand in line if I can just, punch my different products and right away pay and go, right? So there's always like this adoption. But with regards to AI, a lot of people said at the beginning, even like when we started at the beginning, we started like a year and a half ago, people said, oh, there's going to be so much objection, right? But you
Yeah.
should see the reaction. People are like waiting in line to talk to our AIs. And
Wow.
really, and it was like, yeah, in one of the conferences, like a recent one that we've done is CES. It's like a massive one. We were sharing a booth with the hardware partners and a few other partners there. And it was insane. It was like people were waiting. We had to essentially have like a microphone because it was so loud. And when you spoke to the microphone, the AI was paying attention to you because it's like a one directional kind of, you can't have
Yeah.
multiple people talk to it because then it's not understanding. It can see multiple people, but it can
Yeah.
only really talk to one person. If you
That's
think
right.
about it,
Yeah.
when you are interacting with 10 people at once, you kind of like, can you ask me your questions one by one? It's
Yeah.
exactly the same way. And because it was like full size, people were like amazed. And then another thing is that we haven't tested it for 28 languages. Apparently it's very good with a lot of languages. We had Japanese people and Koreans and even Malaysians, and they were like, "Bah, bah, 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 bah." The AI was like, "Bah, bah, 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 bah," and they were talking. And I was like, wow, wow.
That is amazing. It's 28 languages
Yeah,
and
yeah,
responding to every. Yeah, I'm telling you, that's a game changer. So for
yeah.
anyone that is, because I want to be conscious of your time. You're super busy entrepreneur, so obviously, I don't want to go over my time. I want to ask this. When someone is listening and they're learning about they want to learn about AI, how would you suggest they for them to get started? Like, what would you
So first of
suggest?
all, we're about to launch very, very exciting do-it-yourself tools. So once it's ready, we can share it with the audience. We would love for people to try this out. We want to launch an instant image to spokesperson avatar so that you can put it like, kind of like speeches that you can put on
Yeah.
LinkedIn, on your newsletter, on your marketing materials. That's number one. So we want people to use it. Number two, the next step would be we want to automate the entire creation of our really sophisticated, beautiful, full body AIs. And then what I would do is I would encourage people to play with it and to build AI for their business, which means that, the way to get to know AI is to use AI, right? It's the same like if you want to try coding, if you want to do
Yeah.
vibe coding, if you want to do design. Now there's all the tools available for you to be able to get into it. So I would encourage people to use different kinds of AI tools. And if they want to build an AI companion for their business, they should check out humanbeam.io.
Yes, definitely will send them to you. Where can we find you? Where can they? I mean, I know your website, humanbeam.io, but socials and people want to, people are just curious. Like, okay, this is really interesting. I want to check out this serial entrepreneur making waves like Elon Musk, right?
To be honest with you, I recently have used our spokesperson video AI tool for
Mhm.
conferences and also for LinkedIn posts because I'm so busy. I give it the script and we're able to create like because I'm also a public speaker, we're able to
Yeah.
create like the perfect movements. When you see how I'm talking, when I'm
Yeah.
emphasizing, the AI does the same thing. So I end up creating these videos and I will post them, and I have posted them on LinkedIn. Instead of me doing the vlogging, I'll have the AI do the vlogging, right? And honestly, like I used to post a lot more. I do get like a lot of engagement on LinkedIn. So
Yeah.
I will post more things, and I would invite people to follow me and ask me, Galya, come on, post more. So I
Yeah.
promise the next few days I will post one of the videos that I wanted to do, because I wanted to teach people about the different threats when they implement different AIs for their
Yeah.
enterprise, which is another business that we do. And I had my Galya AI prepare the perfect speech for LinkedIn.
Okay, so now I'm curious. I gotta go back on your LinkedIn and make sure I was actually interacting with
The
the
real
real
Galya,
Galya
yeah, yeah,
and not
exactly.
the AI,
Yeah,
and I'm glad you say that. So yeah, find her on LinkedIn. She has a massive audience on LinkedIn. And yeah, me and you definitely have to link up at one of these conferences. I know I'll be going to Vegas for Bitcoin Vegas, and
nice.
just to do media there. If in the future when we have one in San Antonio, you best believe I will invite your company,
I would love
because I want to see how long that line can get.
to.
Because I want to
Absolutely.
talk to the AI.
You should have seen what they made me in the conference. They made me like this I'm like a 5'2" person. They made me
Oh,
like
okay.
this 6 foot Amazonian woman, and I look perfect. Like my hair is longer. I've got like really narrow waist. I'm like, man, I love this technology. This is the
You're
best.
smashing, Galia.
And then
Well,
you ask the AI, hey, how do I
mm,
look? And how
mm.
old am I? Almost every time the AI, and I didn't train them for that. They say to me, wow,
Really?
you look amazing with your big eyes. You're like in your 30s. I'm like, 30s? That is awesome.
So the AI can flatter me. It can flatter me and tell me I look,
Totally.
I
Totally.
don't look 50, right?
Totally. No, not at all.
Okay, see, I like your AI, girl. We're gonna get HumanBeam to San Antonio, Texas. We're gonna get HumanBeam to Austin. Yeah, a lot. My friend Gary is, uh, he has applied AI Society. He does a lot of events in Austin, so I'll let him know about
Yeah, it's
HumanBeam AI.
fantastic for events. It really is. There's so much engagement happening, so it's
Yeah.
absolutely recommended for events.
Yeah, awesome. Well, thank you so much for your time. I'll catch you again, and enjoy the rest of your day.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Brenda. Thanks, everyone.